right, so we'll let the stream get started, and then we'll go. So, all right, looks like we're live. So, hello everyone, and welcome to Adventure on So Many Levels. We're gonna play some Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah!
I am Christiana Ellis, and I am the Dungeon Master. Our players tonight: Chooch Schubert as Autarky,
Hello, hello.
Starla Hodgton as Nirakina Ethu,
Greetings and salutations.
Jenny Meltzer as Cadence of the Water,
I always feel like I should say something like really deep and thoughtful here, but I like to keep my deep thoughts on the inside.
James Meltzer as Ket of the Sands,
I got nothing.
Mark Kilfoyle as Alaric Copperbeard,
I like deep thoughts and I cannot lie.
Vivid Muse as Amethyst.
Hey, y'all, I think Jenny just gave us some deep thoughts.
Ooh. And alas, we are missing Jadzia tonight as Mugen, but Mugen is still with the party, and we hope to have Jadzia back next week. But let's talk about where we left our heroes. Well, you're hanging out in the Dark Elf City, kind of a fancy mansion of sorts, spider themed in many respects, but otherwise nice. You met one of Nira's old suitors from Farusha briefly in your search for the infernal assassin. But then you found the infernal assassin and discovered that the details of the contract set forth by the dragon Neocortex before his death require some complicated arrangements of both Nira's mother and Alaric's father being dead for 10 days, preventing any additional advanced magic from bringing them back after that point. It's kind of a whole thing. There was definitely fear that new assassins would be sent, and even additional reinforcements if the initial attempts fail, all suggesting that it is not done now that you have dispatched these two initial assassins. So, there was some discussion of the possibility of, if Nira's mother and Alaric's father were to die and be dead for 10 days, then maybe they could still be brought back after that, but that was kind of uncomfortable to think about, and so additional options were discussed. But in the meantime, Nira needed a moment to think and went up to the Dark Elf, noble bedrooms in this location, and had a moment to herself. But then I believe she comes down and returns to the rest of you in the midst of your otherwise having your conversation. She's had her moment and has returned to you.
Much more calm now. I've collected myself.
So
Okay.
tell me, Marinessa, what stories can you tell me of a young Nirakina? I'm curious to see if...
No.
Amethyst is
No.
going to lean over and say, Alaric, I got you. We've been talking this whole time.
Oh.
So, looks like you guys have been getting on beautifully. Nice. So,
Always nice to meet new people, you know.
I love moms.
So we were talking, and we think we know a way that we can get to the house pretty easily.
all right.
Does
I
this
thought
mean...
about it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Sorry.
I thought about it. I am settled with this idea, so whatever you guys want to do, it's fine.
just
And if it
for
makes,
my own clarity, does that mean I don't need to die?
hopefully, I mean, we're going to try to do away with the contract, which would mean that you and Alaric's father would not have to die.
In some strange ways, it's probably the easiest direction. I mean, we were kind of heading towards hell anyway. Just we're kind of going through the back door more than the front, I suppose, or side door maybe. I don't know. Does hell have doors?
I don't know,
No,
Archie.
yeah, I always picture, caverns, lava, fire.
I mean, for somebody who doesn't like doors, if it was all doors, then it would be really a proper hell.
Of course, hell's got a door, Chuckles. It's a place. Every place has a door. Come on.
Nice.
Miranessa takes your hand, Nira, and says, "It's clear to me that you have already surpassed anything I could have even dreamed as possible for you. And I suppose you don't remember, but my expectations were not low. And you are traveling with friends who are clearly very powerful. Just simply the idea that you are casually discussing a trip to hell to break an infernal contract is difficult to process."
It's just like Tuesday, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
kind
if
of.
it sounds like a bad idea, it's probably something we come up with anyway. So
Well, that kind of attitude is sort of what I mean. So here's what I'm trying to say. That thing that attacked me scared me. And the idea that it would come back or others like it is not appealing. And I don't want to die, but I also don't want you or your friends to get hurt on my account. So it means a great deal to me that you would embark on this mission to save me. But I hope that it is not at any cost, because I would maybe it's better just to wish you luck.
We'll do our best. I can promise you that much at least.
So I have to confess curiosity. How do you go to hell?
Well, there's this tree, and people used to use it to travel from plane to plane. And it got locked away so that no one could use it anymore. But we know where it is, and I know how to use it.
Seems miraculous.
I think when all this is said and done, a lot of things will seem like that. There are going to be some big changes.
It's hard to imagine how there wouldn't be at this point.
it's
But
hard to
with-
keep track of the ones that have already changed, let alone what's changing next.
So then, tell me how I can help.
Well, I mean, I suppose if that will be difficult to do while things are still in this state. But once things are moving again, I think maybe doing what you can to discuss with the others about what we've talked about, and what's happened in this space, that they don't realize how much time has passed, or sort of not passed. It's very confusing. I suppose just do what you can to ask them to listen when we come back.
Well,
We should come back.
at the very least, I have one piece of evidence that would be difficult to ignore. She kind of holds up her regrown arm.
I mean, you got to hand it to her.
Point.
She's got a point.
You did a
Alright.
nice job with that, Amethyst.
I have a really good teacher. Yes, you, cleric.
She was like,
I roll.
do I do things like that? I don't remember.
Oh, Jenny.
That's
We're
very
all
kind
alive.
of you to say. You haven't, well, some of you have died, but whatever. It's fine. You came back. You're fine. Everything's fine. We're fine. So we're going to hell, right?
Yep.
We don't change our ways.
I
No, we're
mean,
going there anyway.
it's been long predicted.
I think going there is the easy part. Getting back is probably the harder part. I mean, there's lots of reasons we could probably go there unintentionally.
Do you want to
Yeah.
talk about it for an hour, or are we gonna go?
No, I was just wondering whether we wanted to see if that portal was already open.
What portal?
Well, there's supposedly a portal somewhere. You know, the ritual that supposedly might already have happened. And I'm not sure exactly where it opens up to, but I'm
Yeah.
sure it's probably in the neighborhood.
What is our order of operations here?
Well, we were going to plane shift back to the tree and use the tree.
Well, one of the things that Archie could also certainly clear up in case it's not clear is the portal that the Demon Lord is coming out of, that whole deal goes to the Abyss, which is
Right.
not only its own very big dimension, but is also a completely different, very big dimension than the Hells, where the devils would be.
Wait, the Abyss? You mean, weren't we just there? If I'd known that, we could have gone like hunting another hole in the wall. I don't know what the place looks like. But do we even have to go back to the ethereal plane? The tree runs everywhere, right? There's got to be a branch of it around here somewhere, right?
Well, I don't think it's fully
And-
awake yet. I think that's why
Right.
we needed to go, right?
Yeah, that we just know that is where it has grown through before, right? We don't know where else it's penetrated.
It'd
Do
be
we know-
easier to access it at its
Okay.
base right now.
Hmm.
I don't
So,
mind.
Christiana, can I ask, when we interacted with the tree previously, how much of the tree was unfrozen where Cadence and I were?
What you got the sense of is obviously the tree is not only very large in a physical sense, but the idea that it would actually spread out between dimensions means that it is almost, in addition to being physically large, it is metaphysically large.
Right.
What you determined was that when you sort of awakened the part that was near you, it was an effect that kind of was localized and didn't necessarily include the whole tree. But what you think would happen is if you were to be climbing along the tree, the part that's awake would travel with you.
Oh,
So it's not like the physical piece that you're on moves with you. It's more
Right.
that the awakeness travels with you. So as you move along it,
that's exciting.
the part that you're on is what's awake.
And I thought that because you have a connection to the tree, that we could do it together.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would be a bit more than the tree has been asked to do so far since it's been sort of reawakening, but that you believe it's possible.
And then we've got the 9 hells. That's
Mhm.
one.
Yeah,
We've got
yeah.
the abyss. We've got Alaric's dad. We've got Nira's mom. Am I missing anything? As far as fires to put out right at the same time?
Well, like going to the
Oh,
hells
the whole stolen moment.
we'll put out
thing.
3 of those fires at once,
Okay.
is what we're
Well,
hoping.
And we're
We may
sure
have
that
We may have to check on my dad. If more reinforcements have been brought in since we dispatched the last assassin, we might want to check. But
But
yeah.
We were just there, though.
yeah,
And
time is
we
frozen,
spoke
so
with-
it's
We spoke with your parents, Alarix.
yeah,
and
that's
they
true.
Are fine
I'm
for the
always
moment.
screwed up about time.
yeah.
It's all very
It's
confusing.
not a
But-
very
but there is
concrete
the-
thing anymore.
The people who
Amethyst.
did the ritual, not just the demon lord itself, but there'll be some cleanup on the other side, on this side of that portal.
Amethyst puts a hand on Alaric's shoulder and says, "Mushrooms, huh? No wonder you're having
Hey.
trouble with time.
You should try them. They taste
I can't
pleasant.
wait. I smell them. Where are they?"
Well, I think that it's less obvious in here because it's brighter lighting, but your teeth are still glowing for sure.
Oh, Amethyst.
I
Amethyst can
forgot.
find. She's like one of those pigs that can sense truffles. Man, she senses those mushrooms are around. She's a druid, yo.
Well, that
You don't
that
see the
does
bad
remind me. I actually have something for you, Amethyst, and I had gone and I kind of picked a selection of those when we were down there, so I'll hand those over now to the druid. So
Mushroom
this-
bouquet.
Yeah, I it's not much, but we were
They've
lucky
got
that
more.
you had prepared that spell for today, and so thank you.
So Amethyst looks at them like they're just like a big basket full of diamonds and jewels, and she just like gingerly packs them away, and then she grabs Nira and gives her a big ol' hug because
Oh no.
that is just like. And then she steps back and she's like, "Whatever. What? It's cool. It's cool. Thanks. Thanks. You know, cool."
There is one more thing that I want to do before we go.
We've got
Um,
time.
So, Christiana, there's that giant spider sculpture statue, right?
Yeah.
How big is that exactly?
I mean, I could pull it up
Like
on
a
the map,
bear?
but it
Well,
the
So,
it
here-
I mean,
here is-
it's like maybe a 10-foot tall statue, but it's also because of the spider body and the legs, it has like sort of bigger around than that.
because I wanted to, it's gonna be. I think that's too big then. Although,
Well, tell me what you're thinking.
so I want to cast. I've never used this before, and I think it's cool. I want to cast Stone Shape and change the shape of it.
I
Does it-
am 100% on board with this. How do you change it?
I'm going to change it into the shape of the mountain. Was my kind of leaving behind my mark
Yeah.
further evidence.
Yeah, no, that absolutely works. And in fact, I think as you go to do it, you are maybe even a bit startled yourself that it's easier than you expected.
Now they'll know we were here.
That's the idea.
Wow.
Cool.
Okay.
So, Miranessa,
Yes.
we're not exactly sure how time is going to function. We know that it's stopped right now for all except that we pay attention to. That might change depending on where we're going. But if you do wake before we come back, these people, you've invaded their lives. So you got to make that right. But right away, there may or may not be time.
Is something else
what I
going
mean
to
is-
happen?
Well, something else is on the edge of happening. And if we aren't back in exactly the right time to fix it, there's going to be more hell to pay, I guess you might say. All I mean is make friends here, because there are bigger problems than either of your two peoples have ever faced. And if you can make friends in a tight situation like this, when everything is uncertain and nervous, then both peoples will be better off.
I think one of the failings of what I was taught growing up, what I passed along to Nira growing up, what my mother was taught before me. In Farusha, we were so focused on the mountain and being there at the mountain and protecting it from the outside that it was easy to see that as being everything. And so when it began to fall apart, we assumed that the enemy, the cause of that destruction, must have also come from the only other place we knew, beneath the mountain. What has been made abundantly clear to me now is that there is much more to the world, to the plains, than our mountain. It doesn't make our mountain unimportant, but it has given me some perspective, I think. And I will do my best to share that with whoever will listen. And I have now a couple of signs to point to.
When I come back, you'll still be rebuilding a lot of things. And if you'll have my hand, I'll help you. I owe you that and much more.
I'd be a fool to turn you down.
Just you try. Ask them. I can be kind of
Not work
unstoppable.
very well. He's so stubborn. Oh.
Yeah.
Hard-headed.
It's true. Rocks do, or dwarves do have heads of rock.
Well, it would seem, perhaps, that they also have hearts of gold.
That's very nice of you to say. Maybe we should go.
Take care of my daughter, please.
With all of my heart.
Thank you, all of you. It's obvious that you have all been taking care of each other.
We're trying.
All right, let's go find Hell.
Let's go to hell.
All right. Amethyst, do you want to take this one, or?
I think I can tree stride. Are there any trees around us? Can I tree stride to it?
You're in an underground, hollowed out stalactite,
yeah.
so probably not.
Totally. All right.
Well,
so
I don't know. If you went back up to the mushroom garden, that big root thing might count. I don't know. But that would only take you to the material plane. Yeah, so plane shift is what you need to go back to the temple.
Let's do it. So
What
come,
sound does hers
children,
make?
gather round.
Oh, yeah, no, that's a good question. So Nira's plane shift makes the thunderclap, but what about Amethyst?
I think like the sound of like on a fall day, crispy leaves, the wind rustling them, just like a huge swell of that.
Nice.
I think I said spring, but yeah, that was pretty close.
I just couldn't think of what spring would sound like as far as the plants doing it.
I like the idea of like autumn leaves swirled up by wind, kind of whirling around you all until all of a sudden no one can see past the leaves until they just kind of dissipate and you're gone.
Yeah. Perfect.
All right. So you bid goodbye to Miranessa and you plane shift back to the tree temple there in the astral plane, but using your tuning fork that is tuned to the tree specifically. So there you are. Are you heading out right away? Are you taking some additional time to rest, or?
Do we need to rest?
Does anybody need to or swap spells out or anything?
Think.
I mean,
we're
we are going to
good.
hell, so you might want to think about the spells you want to take.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Huh.
I mean, I burned a few. I'm thinking might
Maybe
be
we
the
should
only one
just
that
take a
did.
minute to do a long rest and spell reset. If somebody wants to vamp that doesn't have to swap out spells.
Oh, well, I mean, we don't have to make a thing about it. If anyone has business, we can certainly attend to it. Otherwise, if we want to just clock wipe
Yeah,
and say, "Oh, what a good long rest
Yeah.
that was," that's fine.
I definitely want to swap spells out. But
So glad we so thoroughly prepared for this.
Mm-hmm.
I
Hey,
actually would
not that
like
potential.
to have spent that time, like part of that time with Shadow of a Star,
Mm-hmm.
telling him like what we're doing.
Okay. So obviously, you kind of have to go wake him up again,
Right.
so to speak.
Yeah.
But he, first of all, I think confirms. Well, so here's the question: do you want to role play that conversation? Because we can. But if you would rather just say that's what you did, we can kind of.
You don't have
Abstract
to.
it.
No, I
Okay.
just
I need
thought it would be
just a
fun
minute
because-
to prep for this. So
Sure. So we'll talk about what they talked about while you guys work on that, but we don't
Yeah.
have to role play the whole conversation in dialogue
Okay.
and so on. So basically, I think first of all, what you confirm is that from his perspective, no time has passed since the last time you guys talked to him. So basically, from his perspective, he just talked to you all, and then you kind of jumped around to a different position, and now you're having a completely different conversation, which he is fascinated by. But that's that's his experience of that whole situation. But so what sorts of things are you asking him? You're just getting.
I just wanted to tell him, that we're going to try to use the tree,
Mhm.
and ask him if in that time before time was frozen, if he had attempted at all to use it himself, or if like to feel if he could feel the energy the way it used to be and things like that.
I think what he says is that the tree still felt too dormant. It felt like it was maybe not safe yet, like it might work, but not. They weren't sure enough, and there was a lot going on. It seemed risky. But also, I think he offers some insight. So here's a question. Obviously, Cadence had been around, right, as far as traveling before. Do you think she would have ever gone to the Hells?
I don't think so. Mostly because they were just traveling to places that they always wanted to go. Like they did go to the Feywild and stuff like that. And I don't think that the Hells was any place that they ever really wanted to go. I mean,
Right,
I
yeah.
don't know, Pet. Did you ever want to go to the Hells?
No, not really, man.
Yeah. So I don't think that they would have, even when they were like searching, I don't think that their search would have ever taken them there.
Right, yeah. So I think he has some insights for you about going to the Hells. First, of course, he just warns you. First, I think he points out that the fact that you're going there with time stopped is a huge advantage for you, because you only have to deal with the denizens that you want to, and entirely on your own terms, which is very good. But he also points out that there's kind of a double-edged sword of the fact that any devil you talk to is going to be extremely envious of your current situation. And so the idea of being able to control things while everything else is stopped and you're not, that's something that they would find very desirable, which could potentially be used for leverage if you're willing to allow them to do something or do favors for them. They would potentially trade quite a lot for that. They would see that as very, very valuable. But on the same basis, if they see it as very valuable and they think they can get it through some other means other than friendly negotiation with you, they might also try to do that if they can. So generally speaking, though, devils are, trustworthy is the wrong word. But because they absolutely will try to trick you, but it is, again, it's what they want from you is to make a binding agreement that will ultimately work out in their favor. And that's the distinction between them and the demon, who will basically just try to destroy you in any way they can.
Okay.
The other interesting thing about the hells is that, unlike the material plane and most of the other planes you've been to, the geography is not fixed. Meaning, like, two locations are not always in the same spatial relationship with each other. And the way you travel across the plane of the hells is by having your destination in mind and focusing on it and basically just setting out. And how long you have to travel might be unknown. And it's possible that you could end up somewhere you don't want to be, but there's no other way to do it. There's no other, because the problem is there's no north, south, east, west. Just because the last time you went from A to B, what it meant was going past that big spire of rock and traveling for 8 hours, that doesn't mean that will get you there the next time. So and if you're traveling anywhere, it's very important to have an understanding of where it is that you're trying to go. And in some ways, he thinks you will be especially good at doing that, because it's in some ways similar to how you visualize where you want to go climbing the tree.
Okay.
Can I ask Christiana, do we know what the landscape is like? Is it like all fire and brimstone?
I think he says that it varies, that there's actually parts of hell that are very different from one another. There certainly are places that are all rocky and fire and brimstone, but there are some that are, there's nothing that you would call nice, but there are certainly places that feel more ordinary, right?
But no, like trees or like natural elements.
No, there would be some, but it would probably all be pretty unpleasant nature.
Yeah.
But there are places that have forests and grasslands and swamps, but it's going to be unpleasant sorts of places.
Absolutely.
But that there are actually little oases, so to speak, that are actually quite nice. Because the truth is, there are parts of hell that were intended originally to be nice that are only mostly not nice now because they've been devastated by the ongoing war with the demons.
Naturally. Thank you.
Sure. So eventually, you might actually find sort of pockets of luxury and beauty.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he doesn't know specifically where you would find the Prince of Hell. He says you might need a local guide for that. And
Seems
so
like a brimstone-y location would be his
Oh.
home spot, right?
We could use our friend in the bottle.
Oh, yeah.
He could be our local guide. And when it
That's
gets
a good
close to
point.
being an hour, we could just be like, it's time to go back in the bottle.
Yeah, that's
He could
certainly.
be our DPS, our demon positioning system. Ha ha ha.
Yeah.
It'd be
that's-
nice to have him available to fight for us too, though. So
Yeah.
want to save a little bit of that hour, maybe.
Hmm.
I do have a spell equipped that would last for, I think it's, let me just double check it.
Is it locate demon prince guy?
No, but I have the gas spell and
Well, actually, yeah, I'll flip through, while we were
yeah, and
talking or whatever.
so if-
Flip through the book, The Demons and Devils, A Guide for the Uninitiated. See if it says where the prince hangs.
Where his local hangouts are.
Is there a map
A
with an
business directory in
X?
the back or something.
Nothing quite so specific, but what you do learn about is that there are, in fact, different layers of hell that are ruled over by different sorts of archdevils. And the one that would be called the Prince of Hell is on the bottom layer.
Just
Checks
imagine you
out.
flip through that book and a card falls out. Need a hand? Just shout this name 3 times.
Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice,
Yeah.
Beetlejuice.
But yeah, so the other thing that Shadow of a Star would be able to kind of just offer is that, the devils are not, they are evil, but the way they go about their evil is different than other creatures that you might be more familiar with. The sorts of deals that, their favorite thing to do is to get you to make an agreement with them that seems like it's win-win for you, but is going to turn out to have some secret catch that they invoke at the last minute that turns it all around on you. So be careful. If you make any actual deals with any devils, for anything, much less your souls, be very careful doing that, because they put all sorts of sneaky clauses in there. And yeah, and the idea is the power level that you guys are all at right now, and especially with your current ability to wander around a time-stopped universe, if it is in fact the keys that let you do that, they would really like one of those keys.
I'm just saying the gas spell works for 30 days unless somebody casts Greater Restoration or Remove Curse or a Wish spell to clear it. Just leaving that as an option.
I wonder if devils can be charmed.
I don't know. Archie might know.
Certainly very resistant.
We do have the one in the bottle that we can just say, hey, let the spell take effect, right? And then the hour doesn't matter.
Yeah, for example, that many more powerful demons are in fact just immune to charm effects. How do you spell gas again?
It's
Geas.
Geas.
And it's pronounced 15,000 different ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know how they
Guys. Yes.
Yeah, so
pronounce it in Dragon Age, so that's what I'm using.
Yeah, and based on what Otterkey just said, that gas is a charm effect, and so if a creature is immune to charm, that spell just won't work.
What about the one we have trapped?
Well, doesn't it do something like if we harm it? Like if we did, that would be like intention to harm it in a way.
No, if we give it a suicidal command, the spell ends.
It actually with the Iron Flask, it won't obey a suicidal command, but that does not break the iron flask's effect.
Oh, well, yeah, I was talking
Yeah,
about
but-
the gas
yeah.
spell.
Yeah.
I'm just giving it as an option, but
Mm-hmm.
absolutely
Mhm.
don't have to do that. So,
I mean, you could try it if you wanted to use that spell, but
Hmm.
I mean, knowing that you're going to have issues getting it to stick on most of the entities there, it might be a waste to even take it.
What spell are you looking at?
gas.
Say it.
Yeah,
G-E-A-S.
Would
GEAS.
Charm Monster work on it? Or is it
Well,
different?
again, it basically comes
Charm.
down to many powerful devils
Oh,
are
that's-
immune to charm, and so if it
Sorry.
is a charm effect, then it's going to be the same thing. I don't think all devils are necessarily immune to charm, but some are.
The other thing too is if half the stories I grew up with are believed, and I don't think half of them should be, but hell is kind of it's kind of like a work site. You've got the guy in charge, and then you got the lieutenants under him, and then you get the people under them, and the workers, and all the way down. And the workers, sure, they might be bribed, but they're still going to get hell to pay. Pardon the pun in this case, from their managers, who are still their bosses and can tell them what to do. And if their manager can't do it, the next boss can, the lieutenant, and the person who runs the mine. So maybe we are able to convince him for the moment that he should be working for us. But there's nothing to say that somebody higher up in the chain just can't tell him to kill us. And he might not have a choice but to obey. I think we can use him. I think we can use him sparingly to find our way. But I don't know if I'd want to rely upon a devil in hell. In any
That's fair.
circumstance.
All right, so
It's good to have as a backup, but
Yeah. I mean, we just tell him to go back in the bottle before the hour is up, you know?
and time
So-
I'm hoping is something that we can track passage of there.
one
We'll
potato.
find out. It'll be that way for
Time isn't passing anywhere, so like, how do you even?
Yeah.
It
That's
sort
true.
of passes for us,
Yeah.
though. It would be in our presence, so it would have our time.
Yeah.
That's true.
If it didn't,
Well, that's
it
why I
wouldn't
was
move.
suggesting the gas spell because it lasts for 30 days.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like the sound of that.
You can
So-
try it.
I hate the sound of it, but I mean,
I have to have a place in mind, but we don't really know where we're going. Can we look that up? Is there a demon expert or a devil expert, whatever the hell they're called, somewhere we can just go and ask and say, "Hey, can you paint us a picture?"
Are there any maps in that book that you have, Archie?
not really. It's
Yeah, I
a
think
lot of descriptions.
yeah, it kind of reflection of the nature of the geography is such that it's a hard place to map because places don't actually stay in the same relationship to one another.
Yeah.
You
I
need
mean,
a
if we
magical
can-
map that
If we
moves
can
around.
form a strong enough intent, maybe, you know.
But I mean,
I
like,
think
if we can ask.
Cadence, you believe that with the focus, you can choose which layer of hell you're going to. And if you know you're going to the bottom layer, you can at least get that far. But you would probably need some additional assistance once there.
Right. And I'm wondering if we pull him out of the bottle and he gives us a direction, if we know which direction we're going, if we even would need him the whole way.
Well, it isn't about direction, right? Isn't that what the shadow of
No,
the
it's
star-
about the intent, right?
But I mean,
Well,
we
I-
instruct him to take us.
Right.
Yeah.
Like once we're heading in on the right path.
Well, if we scry on him, will we be able to determine? Will we be able to travel to him?
Mhm.
Do we know what he looks like?
Yeah.
Because I
It
can
does,
scry
um,
too, Starla. You don't have to burn a spell slot. I can. If
Well,
it'll
I
make it
think-
easier to get to once we get in that
Up
zone.
here.
I just don't want to like get there until we know how we're going to get to him. Because
Yeah.
while we're dipping
I
around.
think you have to
know?
really know them or be familiar
Yep.
with an
Yeah.
object they have, right?
You also
Yeah, I'd
know
have to
that,
have some
generally
familiarity.
speaking, someone of the power level of the Prince of Hell would be impossible to scry on.
Except for one thing.
Mm.
Unless we had the book.
Just saying.
So
Yeah, well.
everybody go potty and wash their hands and get a snack for the road trip. We all good? Everybody got full tum-tums?
Bacon.
Look, apparently I have a mother, so not necessary, but thank you. I'm good.
She's always going to be all of our mothers. The mother tree, I guess.
Out of character, I literally don't know how to transition into a travel mode without checking those boxes, so I apologize. That was not Amethyst talking, that was me.
Bags are packed, got my keys, got my wallet.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, you have to make sure because, like, there's not a lot of rest stops on the tree, So.
Yeah.
Don't make me turn this tree around.
All right. So, are you're setting your sights, so to speak, on the 9th level of hell?
Yep.
And you begin. So here's an option, Jenny. Would you like to describe for us what it's like to travel between the planes along the tree? If you would rather I do it, that's fine. But I would like to give you the opportunity if you're interested.
When it first starts out, you're just climbing the tree, just like normal, like kids climbing trees. But the closer you get to the branch you want to take, the lighter your body starts to feel. And as you begin to transition across that branch, your body becomes like starlight. And the closer you get to your destination, the less solid you become until you arrive. So you travel this way, and it's really weird and disconcerting if you've never done it before. Like, you start to look down and you see, where's my body? So you might be a little freaked out because, it's not instantaneous. It's travel, and it takes a little bit to navigate these pathways.
I think for Amethyst, you have a little bit of cognitive dissonance where on the one hand, you don't remember having ever done this before. But I think it's a little bit like when you hear a song that you don't know where you've heard it, but you know that you must have heard it a long time ago because it's just hitting some deep part of your subconscious. And I think the feeling feels like that.
It makes sense.
All right. So, as you are traveling along the tree and on this branch, the awareness you have of your surroundings does begin to solidify once again. There is occasional wafts of sulfurous air, and eventually you find yourself becoming solid once again, stepping off of a branch that is only kind of there into a dark, rocky wasteland that does not, it's not entirely pitch black. There is some sort of a red glow that comes from some undefined place in the otherwise overcast sky. It's not clear that it's any kind of a sun at all, because it's just the whole sky seems to have a very low level red glow to it. And there doesn't seem to be any other living things around in this particular area, and it's just this sort of shattered, sharp, rocky craters. And I think we've established that with the time stopped, you don't really smell things though. So now that you're here, everything's still very still. It is still.
So, do we want to pull our friend out of the bottle? I mean, Archie and I can sense like those presences, but I'm sure they're far more than the one we're looking for, and it would just be a distraction.
Yeah.
I mean, it might be as bright as the sun on your senses, but I totally get what you're saying. Could be totally drowned out by the number.
Mine only goes for up to a mile. I don't know about Archie's.
No,
Mm.
mine's really close. Just
I mean,
60 feet.
what's a
just
mile mean
instant.
here?
Mm.
Yeah.
It could be the
Yeah.
entire place for all we know.
Yeah. I really think that it would be it would be kind of moot because there's more than one and we wouldn't know which one to follow.
Do you want
Yeah.
me to pull them out?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do.
Okay.
So
In a bottle.
the smoke billows out, solidifies once again into the form of your good Orthon buddy. And he kind of sees you all and says, "Oh, hey!" Looks all around. "Oh, man! We're here? Why
Yeah,
are
man.
you-"
Yeah.
Welcome home, friend.
So, I got mixed feelings about this.
So do we.
So I mean, it's good to see you guys, obviously, but why are we here?
We need to talk to your boss about a contract or two.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, you guys are ambitious, aren't you? I mean, I told you, like, this is the one we talked about before. I'm sure, right? That's how we
Yeah.
met. Obviously, I can't imagine what other contract you're talking about. Although I shouldn't assume. But yeah,
It's
that's
the
the
same.
one. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So we just want to know where he is, like how to get there, how to navigate the hell, you know?
right. Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess I could help you do that. But
Yeah, like we don't want like we can like put you away before like he doesn't have to know that you're involved in this at all, you know.
yeah, I think he'll
We
know.
don't blame you, you know.
Yeah, no, I mean, here's the thing. I'm torn, right? Because the thing is, you guys are great. But, he's really smart. He'll know. And the fact that I'm here hanging out with you guys kind of means I'm not doing my job. So,
You work for us now, so you don't even have to go back to work for him if you don't want to. Like, you could stay with us forever.
You could like turn over a whole new leaf. You could fight for justice and honor and truth.
you guys had me going there for a second.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, so seriously though, like obviously I'd rather not get demoted for failing my mission. So what is the plan here exactly? I mean, I can help you
All right,
get there.
So here's the thing. Like, I don't know. Have you looked around, noticed anything strange? Like, oh, I don't know. Nothing is moving.
Yeah, I did notice that. What's up with that?
Yeah, everything's kind of stopped right now, so it's not really a big deal. Nobody's gonna see you unless, we intentionally want them to.
Yeah, because we have the power to make people move and stuff. But right now, we're making them stop.
Wow. Wow. Okay. I have to say I'm impressed. I knew that here, let me confirm something real quick. And he points to you, Nira. It's like, you know the other elf lady, right? Like that's why we're. Yeah,
apparently there's a family resemblance, so I'm sure you seem like a smart guy.
I thought so.
Probably worked that
You
out.
know, it's I mean, you guys are obviously really powerful. Because I mean, first of all, a contract of this level to kill two mortals, that doesn't happen every day. So I had to believe that whoever he's trying to influence with that contract, also someone not to be meddled with. But this is impressive.
Yeah, kind of is.
Could you teach someone else to do it?
Mm,
No.
no.
You're kind of
We're
bored
not-
with it.
Yeah, we're not.
You know, if
it's
you're
one
ever
of those things, you can either do it or you can't. You know.
Yeah.
well, you know, if you ever feel like contracting out your ability, even just running favors for people, the people down here, Prince of Hell, make it definitely worth your while.
Well, that's what we're hoping. So,
Oh, well, see,
Maybe
that's
you
a whole
could-
other thing then. Yeah. No,
Yeah,
if I'm bringing that sort of situation to him, I'm not worried about demotion anymore. So yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah.
Well, hey.
Yeah.
Just
So-
take us to him or point the direction or something.
Okay, so like, are we just walking?
Is there any other way to move around here?
Is there an elevator or something?
I mean, I this is not how I usually travel, but I mean, I guess we could walk. That's fine.
I
How
can
do you
cap.
usually travel?
Well, usually you're in hell, and then when you get the job, they send you directly through teleportation straight to where you're going. I mean, honestly, I don't usually hang out on the bottom layer like this. Like, this is where the Prince of Hell lives, right? But he lives here because no one else is around.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, I could get you there. It's just, you know, it's going to take a little while, is all.
So what if I were to turn us into like crows or ravens or something? What's something that we could fly and wouldn't seem out of place here? And I'm asking the demon.
Well, I mean, it's kind of I feel like there isn't really anything that wouldn't look out of place, but if time is stopped, I don't think anything's going to notice.
Oh yeah. Huh, I keep forgetting that part. We can wind walk.
What about him?
I think it does 7 or 8. Let me check.
And also, we need to be able to keep track of time.
10 willing creatures for 8 hours. Flying speed of 300 feet. Resistance to damage from non-magical weapons, but if we're right and nothing else is unfrozen, then we're fine.
But I thought that you didn't move like you move here.
I
It
know,
isn't
I
about
don't.
the actual distance; it's about the
I'm just
mind.
saying that's as fast. I think that's the fastest travel option I have for however
Yeah.
we're traveling. Since we're talking about walking, I don't want to.
Well, you know, I mean, if we were walking, that's going to be hours and hours.
Yeah.
If we're flying, yeah, maybe less.
It's up to you guys.
Because you're right that it's not like up on the prime material plane where everything's always in the same place. But like, if you're traveling faster, then you still get there sooner.
Mm-hmm.
And then who wants to? I mean, obviously we have a timer going here. So how do we want to deal with that? If we have the spell that lasts 8 hours, and we only have this
Well,
situation here with
Mira-
the bottle for an hour, and we're already
Mira-
ticking time down.
Nira has an idea.
Okay. So just let me know when you want me to cast it, but let's figure out what to do on the other end.
Hmm.
So, Kat, that idea we discussed, do you want to run that by our friend here?
I don't know, like, even
Just suggest that, we want to do this thing.
oh yes, listen. Okay, I'm just trying to think of the right wording, because
Yeah.
our friend is like so nice, and I just want to make sure that he knows
Well,
that.
but
Well,
he knows all about deals, and that people want to make sure that they get the best end of the deal, and
Yeah.
insurance, that kind
yeah,
of thing.
absolutely,
He
man.
gets it.
Yeah, yeah.
Totally.
So listen, we want to keep you safe while you're with us. So I want you to just kind of let my friend here, Nira, she's going to just cast a little spell, kind of like a protection spell on you, and just let it happen, okay?
It's
And
not
that
going to
way,
hurt.
it's not going
You
to
won't
hurt at
feel any
all.
different.
You're not going to feel anything. And that way, it's just going to keep you safe while you're with us and make sure that nothing goes wrong and that everything is on the up and up,
Especially
gonna-
since we've put you in danger by bringing you here. We feel like we should really protect you.
Yeah, we don't want you to die.
You're a friend.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Well,
We don't want
I mean,
we don't want any harm to come to you,
I mean, normally that's not the sort of thing I go in for, but yeah, it's you guys, sure.
Okay. Go ahead, Nara.
All right, so I'm going to give this a shot, and I'm going to cast gas on this guy.
I think you find as you cast the spell and your magic begins sort of penetrating the layers of this thing's mind, you find that it is utterly impervious to this type of spell. He is immune to charm effects. And so I think, though, that the way you experience that is that essentially, like, it's a little bit like you're thinking, I'm going to play a trick on someone and steal the sandwich out of their lunchbox, and then you open up the lunchbox and it's full of like rotten chicken salad, like with no bread or anything, and you're just like, oh God! You just slam the lunchbox shut, and you just like, I don't, yeah, no, oh, ew, yuck.
That's
That is the best
unfortunate.
and worst
It
description
looks-
of a spell failure ever. You find rotten
It-
chicken salad in the lunchbox. Oh, man.
It seems like my magic is just not compatible. That's really unfortunate.
Oh, well, I
Yeah.
mean, that's all right. I mean, yeah, with you guys, I'm pretty tough here. I know my way around. Like, I don't need protection.
All right. Well, we
Alright.
tried,
Sure.
No harm,
And
no
we have a
foul.
deal, right? You're going to take us there, and make
Yeah.
sure that we get there safely, right? Safely and quickly.
Sure.
We have your
Although,
word?
I mean, well, I mean, we're already doing this among friends. I mean, you guys want to formalize it?
No, I think we're good.
No, we can have a gentleman's agreement.
Sure.
Hearts
Yeah.
crossed.
Yeah,
All right.
We're just friends here. We don't need anything fancy.
We don't need any contracts or anything.
Nah. We're friends.
Friends don't let friends sign contracts.
Yeah, between you and me, like, I normally would not tell anyone this, but, like, we're really good at contracts, like, most mortals are not gonna figure out the tricks we put in them, so, it's probably, like, because it's you guys.
Yeah. Oh, did we
Yeah.
mention that we're not
Appreciate
mortals?
Oh, no?
No, we're actually gods.
Whoa.
Let's just stop telling this thing things, can we?
Right. Says
not like-
Alaric of all people. Come on
Yeah,
now.
Just so you know what you're dealing with here. That's all.
Yeah.
Well, the Prince
No.
of Hell is definitely gonna want to talk to you guys.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
that's
which
why.
direction do we want to get going in?
He sorts of like goes up like he's looking around, scanning the horizon, and he basically turns all the way around in a circle, like 360 degrees, and then another 70 degrees or so, and this is that way.
Awesome.
Are you doing
I'm-
Windwalk?
I will once our friend is secured.
Oh, okay. I mean,
Are we
when-
putting him back in the bottle now?
I mean, if we're going to be, he said it would be hours if we were walking. It could be hours while we're traveling. So he's pointed us in the
That's a
direction.
good
So maybe
point.
we
We
could
could just
travel a little ways and then,
go for a couple hours and
Yeah.
then get another position.
Okay.
so are we floating? Are we traveling on land?
No,
How-
this is. I mean, unless you are doing something to allow you to fly, gravity is normal here.
Okay. Okay. So it's like roads and shit or
Yeah.
ground and shit. Okay.
Right. In fact, it's very rocky, uneven terrain. It's not easy to travel, but Cadence is exceptional at finding the easy way to go
She
wherever you're going.
is. She is.
So you're able to make pretty good time regardless.
Yeah.
But but it's not. You're not. There's no road. It's basically just this blasted wasteland.
Cool. Sounds gorgeous.
No.
All
So
right,
we're
listen, buddy.
just walking like normal, right? We're just walking.
We're wind walking.
No,
Oh,
I
okay.
mean, I'm just waiting to see if we want to put our friend away in our little
Yeah, we
safe
can-
place before we change to Windwalk. Because once we do that, he doesn't have hands to do that.
Yeah, we can. We're gonna put you back in the bottle, buddy.
Okay. Really though, I mean, like, feel
Yeah,
like
we-
you guys might get lost.
No, we're just gonna go in the direction you pointed us, and then after a couple hours, we'll make sure that we're still on the right track. We just don't want too many eyes on you. We want to make sure
Alright.
that you're kind of hidden away.
Oh, hey, I mean, don't say I didn't warn you.
I got you.
He does
He
go
warned
back
us. He warned us, everybody. He warned us. Into the bottle you go.
Yep. He goes back in the bottle.
So
All right.
did nobody think that, maybe he could just describe the place to us and then we could,
I mean-
focus on
You were
that?
standing right there.
He said he
Yeah, why
never really
didn't you
did.
ask him?
Yeah,
Yeah,
y'all are
man.
teasing
You
him
think of
stuff like,
that?
yeah, we're friends, and yeah,
I
let's just go back
feel
to the
like we-
bottle, yeah.
I feel
I
like
can
we
let him
dawdled a
again.
lot there, so I was just trying to get the thing moving. But yeah, can we retcon that she asked that question, or we can certainly whip him out again?
Let's just go for a couple
I mean-
hours. Let's, and then we'll take him out of the bottle again, and then we'll ask. We don't want to. We don't want him to think that we're stupid.
Come on.
All right?
Yeah, we don't want him to think that we're stupid gods. That'd be
Yeah,
bad.
man.
Mhm.
So yeah, the spell lasts for 8 hours, and you can change it any time. The reason I was asking about the landscape, like if we're up in the astral plane, we can just stop and take that minute to change forms between the two. So, and with everything frozen, I think it's fine for us to be vulnerable. But we'll find out, eh?
Mhm.
So are we ready? Do we know at what point we want to? I mean, we'll just follow Cadence, I guess, because she's the best navigator here.
Mhm.
Maybe? Huh?
We'll see.
Mhm.
All right, Windwalk, boop.
All right. How long do you travel? The terrain doesn't really vary.
It's kind of up to our navigator, really.
Everything kind of looks the same.
Yeah. I'd say we go for like at least an hour. And if things don't start to change, then I would probably drop down and reassume my own form.
That's a good idea. That'll give an
Yeah.
assessment of like how much much closer we are.
Yeah.
All right. So you guys are traveling for an hour. You do find that just like how high up off the ground do you go as you fly? I mean, you guys could kind of experiment going higher and lower or whatever, but I think what you see is that, like, as far as you can tell, this exact type of terrain just continues on into the horizon in every direction.
Do we see any grand palaces anywhere in the distance?
No.
Okay.
As you have traveled for about an hour, you were going pretty fast with the Windwalk spell, but then you kind of settle back down, and as you kind of settle down towards the ground, go ahead and make a perception check. Anyone who kind of feels like you want to.
27.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
32.
It feels like you have traveled quite a ways, but you could not swear that this clearing that you kind of settled down into is not the exact same place that you started in.
Mm.
Now, whether that means it is another one just like that, or somehow literally the same one, couldn't say. But it's pretty much exactly the same as the one you arrived in.
I feel like we need
But-
to modify our intention, you guys.
And I summon the axe. And I'm going to carve into the stone the dwarven letter for beginning, or the first dwarven letter.
Nice.
At least maybe this will be a milestone. If we're not moving at all, we'll know maybe. I mean, I don't even know if this is permanent here.
Mhm.
All I know is we're determined to go to the Prince of Hell. Start from that, maybe.
Want to make a
think
stone
we should
carving
have-
check for me? I would say
Sure.
probably dexterity plus proficiency.
Stone carving. Wow, I haven't used that one in ages. That's a natural 20, so 26.
Your carving
Yeah.
just is very clear and impressive, and in fact, you sort of feel like some piece of your own magic, or the axe helping too, but the rune almost seems to glow in this dim infernal light here, to the point where you feel like it's almost like a beacon, like you can tell where that is.
Well, can't say I've not left my mark on this world, at least. Or at least maybe we'll be able to judge.
Did we want to consult our friend again?
Yeah, I think we should. I mean, maybe get a better, description of what we're looking for so we can hone our intent.
Yeah, maybe frame it in the context of we want to mentally prepare ourselves for
Nira,
you know-
I'm just going to tell him to listen to you, and you can ask the questions. Hey, buddy, what's going on?
You guys got lost, am I right?
Well, actually, Nira here. No, we didn't get lost. My friend Nira had some very important questions she wanted to ask you. So, take it away, Nira.
And we missed you.
Well, who? Yeah.
Aw!
So, I don't know. I can't shake this anxiety. I would really like to know, like, the kind of place we're walking into. Like, it just feels like a strategy thing. Like, I'm not saying we're going to get into a fight, but like, it's smart to be prepared, right? So like, like, what kind of place does he even live in? Like, where, like, are we expecting to walk into a throne room, or is he just like standing, like, I don't know, in the middle of a field or something?
No, he's got a big palace. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's like, it's all made of, like, obsidian or, like, shadow or whatever. I don't even know, man. It's just, it's, like, black and impressive and shiny and real tall. Yeah, got all sorts of... Like, the thing is, like, he lives there by himself, right? Why does it need to be so big? I don't know. But, like, nobody even goes... Like, I suppose, like, when people go to see him there, like, it's an impressive thing. But, like, usually he doesn't even do business there. So, like, I don't know who he's trying to impress with that castle. But you know what? You know who he does impress with that castle? Anyone who sees it.
Oh, I imagine. How many spires? Like, does he have spires? Because
Oh, yeah.
honestly,
Spires for
I
days.
love a good spire.
Spires for days. All very pointy on the top. Some of them, though, you can't even really see because they go up all the way into the sky.
Wow, that is super impressive.
And I mean, it's like,
So,
I don't
like-
know, like, are there rooms in there? I don't even know.
Yeah, I wonder if maybe he keeps his prisoners in the tower. Like that's just a very, I guess, a kind of romantic way to put it. It's very like storybook. Maybe I've just read too much. I don't know.
I don't know. If you find out, tell me, huh?
Yeah. So where is this palace? Just is it like up on a mountaintop? Like
Well, I
did
mean,
he
sort of.
put it at the bottom of a deep dark chasm? Like how where's he got this thing stashed?
Well, you guys just are trying to figure out how to get there, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah, okay. Like,
we just
don't
want to
need
know
to-
if we
Come on.
see it, we want to know we see it. You know.
How long have we been friends for? Like, do we really? You don't need to mask your intent with me, man. Hey, just say you want to know what it looks like so you can get there and not get lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
okay.
I was just really curious too.
Right.
She's a bit of a castle lover.
Sure. Yeah. I mean,
She
they're
does
cool.
love spires.
So, it's basically out. It's the only feature for miles and miles. It's just basically in the middle of a big flat, like salt flats, like that. Except there's no actual salt. It's I don't know, chemicals, but it might be some kind of salt. But it's not the kind of salt like mortals would eat. But cracked.
Would there be like a road leading up to it, or is it just the castle there?
Who's going to drive on that road?
Well, but it's
I mean,
for
it'd be-
aesthetics.
Probably be paved with good intentions, I suppose.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like that.
So is that it? Just a big castle in the middle of a big flat space?
That's enough to get you there.
All right.
So are we
Shall we?
going?
I guess you're probably gonna have to go back in the bottle.
If Cadence is happy with direction, I'm happy.
Are we
Yep,
still going in the right direction?
I mean, you weren't. Like we're not. We're you guys. No.
Well,
I
which
mean,
way
you
are
know.
we supposed to go?
Well, okay. Like you guys get this, right? It's not about like, oh, go this way for this many units, and then you turn a left at the thing, and then go that many units. That's not how it works. I'm
just gonna close my eyes and picture a big castle in the middle of an open space.
Yep.
Start walking in whatever direction feels right.
Alaric's just walking off. Yeah, see, he
I
gets
mean,
it.
you said there was an intent. If we had an intention that it would travel there, so I guess that's what Alaric is doing.
I put Alaric in the bottle.
It's probably safer. He'll just find a portal and jump through it.
For the record,
Oh,
I'm
our
assuming you
Alaric.
are not actually doing that. It would
But I am
work
gonna
on
put-
you
I
guys
am gonna
now
put the
because you're
demon
not
back
on
in the
the
bottle.
plane
All
that
right.
you're from. So
Sorry, Christiana.
I was just
What
going
was
to say
that?
the Iron Flask would work on you guys now because you are not currently on the plane of your.
Ah, yeah.
Oh, that'd be
Oh,
funny to
wait.
find out by accident.
So if that's true, does that work on him here?
Well, he's already, imprisoned in it. So
Mm-hmm.
you would
No,
not.
do you mean the dude we're trying to find?
I
No.
think that
No.
if he were not already trapped by it, you would not be
Oh.
able to trap him to begin with. Here.
Gotcha.
So we cannot let that hour run out.
Also,
Oh, no.
it wouldn't work on anybody else from the hells while you're
Yeah.
here.
While you're here, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
We're here.
But because he was already imprisoned by it, you can just order him to go back in. You don't have to capture him again.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So here's a thought. We find the demon prince. We grab hold of him and plane shift him to the material plane. Put him in the bottle. Take him out of the bottle and say, hey, let's break the contract. And he'd be like, okay.
Well, I think it would
Yeah.
work a little bit like how when you put the Orthon in the bottle, he actually got a chance to
Yeah.
beat it.
He would get a roll, I think.
He would, yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
There was a whole battle to get the other worldly being in that bottle.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was just a thought. I didn't say it was
Yeah.
a good thought.
Well, I
No,
mean,
it's
and
No,
not
yeah,
a bad
we're-
idea, but
it could work, but it's a charm 18 attack save, so it's kind of high.
Yeah, and if they're like charm resistant, then they
That's we
probably
can
are.
drag him
Oh,
all the way
yeah.
to the mold.
It's a wisdom.
Yeah.
That's
It's a
right.
wisdom save.
You know, you guys, if you're willing to part with this bottle, it could also that could also fetch you a pretty penny.
Yeah, probably not.
Hmm.
I don't care about pennies.
Is your boss?
Well, what do you care about?
Is the prince kind of
Walking in this
is he
direction.
fond of anything?
Oh, you guys are kind of talking all at once. I can't follow.
Sorry. You're walking away, Lark.
Yeah, you're not even here.
Is the demon
Very
the prince? Is he like fond of anything? Like, can we get in his good graces by like bringing him a gift or something?
Oh yeah, definitely. But I'll tell you what's not going to work is calling him the Demon Prince.
No. I know.
What's his name?
What's his name?
Oh well, it's hard to say with a physical mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Gliasa.
Okay, Glata. Is Glata fond of anything?
Well, you know what he likes most of all, souls. Like I'm getting just from the vibe of you guys that that's not your thing. So, things of great value, whether it's like, doesn't have to be like, oh, how many gold pieces would you be able to get for it at the fair? It's like things that mean something to you. Like something that would be hard for you to give up. The harder it is for you to give it up, the more he likes it.
We could give him nearest memories.
Lord knows she doesn't want
We
them.
already gave those away.
Yeah, but that would be super hard to give up.
She gives them
Okay. All right, that's good to know. Okay.
But you
thanks,
do
Sarah.
actually
Okay.
have to be able to give it to him.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah. All right. Thanks very much, Orthopedic. I'm gonna put you back in the bottle now.
All right.
It reminds me of Clem from Buffy. I want to play kitten poker with him now.
All right. So this time you set out with the sort of envisioning.
Yes.
And I think that like any of you could do it, but certainly now that you have kind of a mental picture to work from, I think that you find, Cadence, that it's very intuitive for you. Like you realize that like when you have formed the mental picture, it's literally like you sort of feel a GPS ping in the distance.
Okay.
And you feel like, oh, yes, that way, obviously. So I think that you are able, without any additional difficulty, to lead the way.
Okay.
And you guys have a bit longer with the wind walk, correct?
We had
That's
8 hours.
8 hours
Yeah.
total.
Well, I think with that, you are able to travel quite quickly. And now that you have a definitive idea where you're going, I think before the end of the 8 hours, although maybe not a whole lot of it left, you do see an enormous towering castle in the distance. And its height is hard to process because it is simultaneously like so tall that it pierces the clouds, but somehow doesn't feel that big. It's like it's an optical illusion somehow, that like it is a physical building that also somehow penetrates dimensions. Like it's a little bit hard to look at. It's very cool. I mean, you know, in a sort of, you know, heavy metal album cover sort of way. But you do see it, and you are able to, you know, advance towards it.
If I think about it for a moment, do I still feel that mark I made in the ground?
Yeah.
Do I have a rough idea where it is? Okay.
Mm-hmm. You realize, though, that again, like getting here, it's you have that feeling that you could go back to it because you kind of know it so well, and it broadcasts itself to you. So you definitely could make your way back to it, but it's also not as simple as just turning around and going back the way you came.
No, but it did as I hoped.
Mhm.
It made a change here that I know.
All right. So do you land on the ground outside this place? Do you look for an inner courtyard? What are you doing?
Are there
Well,
any
I
signs?
mean, we're not complete savages. Maybe we should just walk through the door.
Are there any signs of life or guards or whatever they might have?
Mm-mm.
Can we check for traps before we walk through the door?
Are there like any frozen people around it?
You don't see anyone.
Okay.
I feel like there's probably not a
Something-
lot of people seeking this place out, though. So
You never know.
There's something the Orthon said. He said that the Prince of Hell does his business usually somewhere else. I suspect most of this is just for show.
Hmm.
I mean, if you're going to be the Prince of Hell, you'd better have the biggest house in the block.
Yeah.
But it's a starting point.
Now,
So
this
do
is
we-
the story all about how my life got
So what are we planning to do?
Do we want
We're
to
gonna
try
borrow-
scrying, or what else do we have?
We can't really scry because of the.
But are we planning to bargain with him?
Because
Trade
of what?
Are we planning to bargain with him, trade with him, or just try to kill him?
No, we're not going to kill him.
It's always an option, unfortunately.
Killing is like the last, resort.
option.
If
yeah.
everything else fails, then yeah, we'll kill him. Come on.
So what's everything else?
We could find out if there's anything he wants. I mean, he really wants that dragon soul. We already killed that dragon once. The dragon is fighting him. I mean, we could use that as leverage. Right now, time is stopped. We could go and take care of the dragon.
It's true. And then the Prince of Hell gets all the dragon's memories that he's hoarded over centuries.
He's going to get them anyway.
I mean,
Deal with the dragon, have him cancel the contract.
we're in like a no. It's like a.
Yeah,
We're not gonna get everything we want here.
yeah.
You know, we're gonna have to give a little.
and we have no idea what he would even ask for.
Exactly. I mean, we're not gonna know till we at least
He's
talk.
gonna
to him.
ask for somebody's soul, I think. At least one.
Maybe. There's
There's
always
only one
Mugens.
soul I would offer up. It's
What?
probably still here somewhere,
Hmm.
depending on what the hell she was.
We could always
Yes.
give him. We could always give him the soul of the one who betrayed him. I got him right here in the bottle.
Wow.
Small potatoes.
Yeah. You know.
Yeah, I don't.
It's
think
not
yeah,
ours
he-
to
he's
give.
already. Yeah, he's already
give.
technically got that one.
I guess. Yeah. Okay.
And I mean, I know he's charmed and everything, and that's not like who he is hanging out with us right now isn't who he is, but like I really kind of like him, guys.
Yeah, me too.
Nope, nope, nope.
I mean, I know. When the
All
spell
over
wears
again.
off, it's on. But you know, like for now, I kind of like him.
Me too.
Right?
I'm with Amethyst.
A
It's not him.
devil is not the same as a pig.
Don't even talk about my pig.
But
Any
it-
of you, ever.
It's the closest thing we have to a pig right now.
Exactly.
Just for fun.
Oh wait,
games.
Arwen. I'm sorry.
Just for fun, this is a reminder. This is what this guy looks like.
It's kind of like a boar.
He's like Clem.
should
get
have
attached to
both by its
everything.
cover.
don't you?
Yeah.
yeah,
I
it's-
did.
You never had pets as a child, did you, Nero? Oh wait, you can't remember. Never
remember.
mind.
See? See? See?
I'll be
Anyway.
back. I need the Coke.
I mean, you guys have
That
now
goes
been
off.
traveling for 8 hours relatively. Like, what are you guys getting hungry or?
You get
Oh.
hungry in hell?
Yeah.
Like, so
Oh,
you
yeah.
go to places where we don't get hungry.
Nope.
Amethyst can cast Goodberry at any time, so
Cat could do the mansion, and we could just have a feast.
I just camp out
Yeah.
outside the Prince of Hell's house. With our
Surprisingly
We
enough,
could just put the mansion in the Prince of Hell's house.
yeah, in the foyer.
Yeah.
real estate here is
hell
really
is
cheap.
definitely a place where you get hungry.
Yeah. But yeah, I can either do that unless y'all want to have a feast before, whatever's gonna happen.
Can we do a hero's feast?
I mean, it's 1,000. Let me see. Oh, I don't have it equipped, I don't think.
Yeah,
but
I don't either.
yeah.
Well, it has a,
It's
a
super
pricey material
expensive.
component too.
Yeah.
Sorry. So yeah. So did you guys want to do that? Did you want to eat or do you want a good berry?
Do you want to do the mansion, Cat? I mean, we've been traveling for hours and hours.
I mean, but we could get by with just the Goodberry, and I don't know, maybe he's going to ask us to go on some errand where we're going to need to rest up first. I don't know.
I'm good with the good berry.
Yeah. Yeah, Goodberry's good.
Here you go.
You
Thanks.
hand out the good berries, and everyone, as you eat it, it tastes terrible. Tastes rotten.
Dang, guys.
Aww.
I'm sorry. I
You do still feel satisfied
Oof.
in the way that a good berry normally would. It just tasted bad.
You had those in your pocket for a really long time, Amethyst.
I swear I just cast the spell. It must just be where we
Amethyst,
are.
you definitely feel like it's just this place. You suspect any food here would taste bad, just because of where you are.
I think it's a good thing we didn't waste that spell slot of cats.
Yeah. Well, no, because
Well,
we
that's
would be
the
in another
top
dimension.
so,
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, who knows if I could screw up the mansion? That would be really
Scary.
annoying.
Would be interesting to test, but
We don't need to
not
right
now.
Maybe in a less crucial moment.
Wow.
All right, are we doing this?
Yep.
Yeah, man.
Might as well. We're here.
I'd like to check for traps before we just charge right in.
I'm going to cast guidance on Cadence while she does that.
Okay.
I really want her to see traps if there are any.
What does that do?
An extra D4.
Yeah.
What is...
Well, investigation would be if
Okay.
you're taking your time with it.
Okay. 17 plus 4, 21.
All right. You are pretty confident that there are no traps as you would normally understand them. I think that in general, the sense you get looking at this place is it's sort of like, if you're already made it here, he probably wants to talk to you.
Just come in. It looks good, guys.
I hope he has meats and cheeses.
They
You don't
probably
want to
taste like crap.
Oh, you're right, man.
Yeah.
He could probably offer you food that wouldn't taste bad.
For a price.
cook you up a little
Soul.
Give me your soul and you can have this salami.
Or someone else's. That works too.
Oh my.
Doesn't have to be your soul.
What kind of bargain are we making here?
I don't know. I just looked away for a second. And wow.
Guys
I
don't
like
know how
to
to
do
wheel and
hell.
deal.
I'd like to
So-
be the princess of hell, obviously. Okay.
Okay.
So you guys discover as you pass through this enormous set of front doors that you feel as though you must have passed through several different chambers and hallways and everything before reaching this new room that I'm about to describe. You feel like you must have passed through those places. You are pretty sure you did, but somehow it all just kind of feels fuzzy. Like you know you must have. It's like how in real life on a familiar drive you can just get caught up thinking about other things and realized, oh, you've made it all the way home and didn't even remember doing it. It feels like that as you now arrive at an inner chamber where you open it and it is luxuriously appointed with enormous, fancy, soft-looking, ornate rugs and tapestries and pillows, like lounging pillows. You know what I mean? Like the kind that you sort of sit on or lay down on with one elbow and that sort of thing, all around a low table that is stacked with just gorgeous-looking food. And sitting there on the opposite side of that table, looking right in your direction like he's just been waiting for you all this time, is the Prince of Hell, who is frozen, just happens to be sitting right there looking like he was waiting for you.
What does he look like?
Wow.
Oh, well, that's maybe something I could describe. He's pretty much what you'd expect, I think. You know, he's like maybe 8 feet tall, bright red skin. He's got the classic, like the horns that go out. You know, Legend.
Yes, that's what
Yeah,
I mean.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that like that'll give you the basic vibe. I mean, obviously, Autarky as a tiefling, you know, like there's like there's a reason that people think tieflings are like devils, right? I mean, that's some of the whole sort of thing. But at the same time, you know, so he's got the big black horns, but like he's dressed in a very expensive looking silk shirt that is kind of cream colored and like open a little ways down the chest, and what looks like maybe black leather pants, but that he wears comfortably, meaning, you know, he's sitting and looks comfortable. But you know, again, if it weren't for the fact that he does still appear to be frozen, he's just looking right at you as you enter the room.
He's kind of handsome.
Creepy.
I go sit in his lap.
No, don't do it. You'll wake him up.
Oh, okay, that's right. No, never mind.
Are we ready to do that? And do you want to be sitting in his lap when he comes to?
Well, I mean,
Stroking his face lovingly? Come on now.
Taking selfies. Yeah.
Yeah, don't do that.
Let's not forget that this is probably one of the most evil beings that exists. He may be handsome, I guess, and he may look like he's frozen, but it doesn't mean he's powerless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be ready for anything. And I'll summon the axe, just in case.
Okay, but I'm going to summon my brain because that's probably where he's going to go for.
Is it a
Our
humanoid? Is it a humanoid? It's not, is it?
No, I mean, in terms of shape, he's got arms and legs and a head and so on, but he is certainly a fiend,
Okay.
and not a humanoid as far as spell categories are concerned.
Okay.
In fact, he is an archfiend, which means that even normal fiend things wouldn't necessarily apply.
Fun.
Yeah, and I think Archie, your paladin sense, you kind of just instinctively have to sort of set it on low sense, you know, like low sensitivity, because it's just like,
Evil it blinds.
yeah.
So what do we have to
Before-
restrain it?
Before we wake him up, I could potentially cast Holy Aura. And that will give, let's see, you will have advantage on all saving throws, and other creatures have disadvantage on attack rolls. And when a fiend or an undead hits you with a melee attack, they have to make a check to see whether or not they're blinded.
That's not for.
Does that go on everybody?
Yeah, it would.
Buff everybody?
Sure.
We should prepare as much as we can.
Always is with Nira.
In 30-foot radius.
Let's not forget that we're in his house, and many of these things can change your mind unwantingly. Hell, even the smaller
Yeah.
ones like Jinx could do that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. One
Yeah,
that one that I had prepared that lasts an hour, but it takes a full minute. So I normally don't really think of it, but I had prepared it for this since time is frozen. But I can create a circle around him that can be very difficult for him at least to leave or to cast his own magics through.
Yeah, mine only lasts for a minute, but I'm kind of wondering if maybe we, starting off with spells, will,
Provoke him?
yeah, like already put him on the defensive if he's
I
not.
think if we didn't
Yeah.
go on the defensive, I think
He
he'd be
wouldn't.
offended. I
Yeah,
think
he
would
wouldn't
take the first
expect
moment
us.
to attack us if we were not defending ourselves.
I don't know.
It's him.
Maybe he
If he could
seems
just
like
make
he's
us
waiting
do it.
for us.
Yeah.
Have we considered not talking to him and just killing him?
No,
See?
because once we
I told
touch
you.
him, like it was just like with the other demon. Like as soon as we had that intent, he woke up. So we couldn't just like stab, kill. It would wake him up, and he would have the opportunity to fight back.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Like you'd all get a
didn't
round
know
off, so to speak, but
Yeah.
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 Like the imps were easy
Nuke
just
him.
because you could one shot those.
Mhm.
But the thing is, as soon as he wakes up, if he feels there's weakness here, I'm sure he's going to take advantage of us. If he can turn
Yeah.
us against each other, I'm sure he would do it.
Totally.
Hell, you were
Yeah.
talking about a spell earlier to make that little one work for you for
Yep.
hours. If he has the same spell, why would he not use it? Besides,
I just realized
I think he might respect the fact that we actually prepared ourselves.
I just realized this spell of mine would be useless anyways if other beings of this magnitude can ignore these waves.
At the very least, not being far from autarky is a good idea. You give off good waves, whatever the hell it means.
So we just do nearest spell. I mean, I think I don't want to be naive about this, but I feel like he's gonna want to talk to us, you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure
Remember-
it's going to want to talk to us.
But
It's going to
remember
want
when we
to
were
make
there-
a deal.
Exactly.
right.
So
But remember
we
what
are on
people
our
do.
guard.
We'll take
All you have
advantage
to do
of
is
whatever
walk
we're
away
trying
and he
to
goes back to sleep.
Yeah.
Okay.
But all he needs is a second or two, just like you.
Yeah.
He can only power word kill one of us.
Does anyone have silence so he can't cast? Like he may be able to cast spells without even saying them.
Hard to talk to him when he's silenced, though.
That's true.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Straws, guys. I'm grasping at them. All right. Well,
Yeah.
I'd
We're
say
in
whatever,
way over our heads again.
whatever protections we can give ourselves, the best. And if there's other ways that we can have of unwhammying each other, that might be good too. I can do nothing.
Oh, true. I can prepare another aura, at least for some.
are we
It
doing-
really won't last more than a minute.
I may hold an
minute.
action.
The minute we can get away. And at that point, we can at least be hopeful that he's frozen.
True. Yeah.
But if he gets a hold of any one of us, then he is unfrozen and has the key to time.
Mhm.
If he kills any one of us, he can have the key to time.
One thing that I will just offer in a meta sense is that you guys don't necessarily understand how the keys work. You know that you needed to have the keys on you. You don't know if they would work for anyone else.
Yeah.
Let's not find out.
This is why I said-
Honestly, I'm treating him with the same level of trust as our Fey Queen. So, you know.
Yeah.
I don't even trust him that much.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't trust her at all.
So are we doing the aura? Or are we just waking him up?
Oh yeah, I can. Yeah.
I will hold Holy Aura.
Okay.
How long does that take to cast?
Well, that does cost 1,000 gold, so
Ooh.
or a thing worth 1,000. So
We have lots of things though.
yeah,
We had all that
man.
stuff from the dragon hideout and
My
Yeah,
golden boots are
um,
gone. What happened? Oh, you cast that spell.
So
I'll,
do
I'll
we?
I'll fish out a gem, and I don't know. It's supposed to be like a reliquary or something. I don't know. But like maybe I just make it holy myself. It's like, bless this stone is mine now. Claim you for
Right.
Rushama. Boom, you're holy. Okay.
So did we say we thought that we could hold him here?
No.
No, I realized it
No.
wouldn't really work because they can just. It requires a saving throw to like teleport out of it, and he can just choose to save.
Okay.
I
Okay.
don't really think there's a whole lot we can do here, guys.
Yeah. I just start walking
Okay.
towards him, and I'm gonna wake him up.
All right.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and. Um, no,
I'm holding on
no,
to the
never
axe.
mind. I'll hold that. Never
All
mind.
right.
Yeah, I'm
All right.
gonna hold in case there's an attack. I don't know how long it would hold for in this type of thing where we may have a conversation for.
I mean, are you holding a spell?
Yeah.
I mean, a spell basically you can hold for 6 seconds, like 1 round worth, and then the spell slot is lost whether you cast it or not.
Okay. No, never mind then. I didn't realize it was only 6 seconds.
Yeah, any other kind of non-consumable action you can hold for as long as you want because doesn't cost anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so a spell, in order to hold the spell, you kind of have to, you're basically doing all of the casting except for the last little bit.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
can't undo that. But all right, so everyone,
Who's talking?
sounds
I
like
went over to him.
Cadence went ahead and went over. How do you do it?
I just reach out my hand and touch like the side of his arm because he's
Okay.
sitting down.
Right. So you are on your way over there, and you're reaching out to touch like his shoulder, and all of a sudden you realize there's a hand on your hand on his shoulder. And you realize that not only has he moved his hand to put his hand over yours just before you actually touched him, but also the hand is no longer the hand that you saw, and the figure that you're now have your hand on the shoulder of is a gorgeously handsome male tabaxi. The rest of you each see basically sort of the ideally handsome man of your own race.
I'm tempted to say I see myself.
But basically, he holds your hand and just turns to look up at you and says, "Cadence, my dear, it's good to finally meet you in person, and all of you, of course. Welcome. Have a seat."
I had a feeling you were waiting for us, Your Majesty.
Well, I have been following your progress for some time. Does everyone sit
Why?
down, or are you still kind
Yeah.
of standing back?
Why?
Because I'm polite. That's why. Because I'm polite.
Why have you been watching it?
Everybody
of
watches
you
us alone.
Have been growing far more powerful than anyone could have expected early on. And your interfering in the workings of the universe have just been remarkable to behold. After all, this was why the coalition of the law approached you in the first place. Now, you weren't there, of course, Alark. You were having your own adventures. But yes, we've been watching you for a while to see if you were going to be a contribution to the law of the universe and the order, or agents of chaos, and whether or not that puts you on the same side as our coalition or the opposite. But it would appear now that whole conversation is not moot, but certainly changed.
Yeah, a lot of things have changed.
Indeed.
That's kind of why we're here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that and that whole contract with the dragon.
Of course. Of course. So, I'm sure that the terms of that particular contract are not to your liking. But here's the
Mhm.
thing. Everything's negotiable.
So, what would you want to make those contracts go away?
Well, there are a number of different things that might turn my ear, draw my eye. Neocortex, very powerful creature. I've been after his soul and his knowledge for quite a while. It would hurt to let that go, but all of you, not only have you done amazing things throughout the multiverse, you have incredible power and the ability to do great works that could be works done for me. I, of course, take souls, but I'm not pushy. I know that's not what you would be looking to give, but it doesn't have to be your souls. If there are other souls that you could get me, that would work. But also, I am fascinated by this ability you have to move about when the rest of the universe stands still. Tell me about that.
No,
Nothing is free.
that price is too high.
Very well. If you wish to keep your methods secret, that is certainly your prerogative. But one of the things that I might be willing to negotiate for is either an opportunity to use that power for myself, or if you must keep it in reserve only for your use, perhaps favors done for me with the power would also suffice.
Like, what kind of favors are you talking about?
Well, the ability to march around the multiverse unobstructed, unobserved, all sorts of secrets could be discovered. The ability to selectively unfreeze or freeze different individuals, very handy for all sorts of missions. Is this something that's on the table?
I think it would depend on the mission.
Of course. Do you have criteria that you would wish to apply? Any immediate deal breakers that we should not bother to discuss?
We won't murder anybody. That's a definite deal breaker.
What if that person was a bad person?
Well, that's relative. I mean, he might be bad to you, but maybe he's not bad to somebody else. So, I mean, we can't pick and
Well,
choose
you
who's
went
good and
and
who's
killed
bad.
that dragon without even me needing to ask you to. So,
Well, he had it coming.
well, there
He
you
was trying
have
to
it.
kill us at
What
the
if
time.
I wished you to kill someone that I could persuade you had it coming?
Well, you could probably persuade us of anything.
Yeah.
You could
He,
No
certainly
he
harm
kind
to
of gives
the tree,
a
by the
guilty as
way.
charged shrug, just like, oh,
somebody
Yeah,
you
harm the
know
tree, like
that
that.
we would agree needs to go. Yeah.
all of us would have to agree.
What
That's
was
why
the
it's
response
split.
on the tree?
I
Yeah,
wouldn't
no harm
dream
to
of
the
harming
tree.
the tree. It's an incredible resource now that it seems as though it will be waking up. Perhaps
less
the
reassured than
ability to
before I asked
travel
that
along the
question.
tree.
Do what?
Perhaps granting me and mine powers of travel along that tree would also be something I would be willing to discuss.
That's
I don't think
something
we'll be
that we need to work out once we fix everything else.
Hmm.
And I don't think we're going to grant you or your kind any permanent powers. Keep making
This
that
is what-
face. I like when you look upset.
This is what caused the problems with the tree to begin with, is telling people they could not use it. We have to, that's not something that we should even discuss right now. We
Well,
start
I thought
picking
we
and
were
choosing who
discussing-
can use it.
I thought we were discussing what sorts of
course.
things might persuade me to let the contract go.
In another way, it's what are you willing to lose if you refuse to drop the contracts?
That's a different conversation. Would you really like to have that one?
I'd rather not. But I'm willing to go the distance if I have to.
Of course. But I don't think any of us really want it to go that way. I certainly don't. What a waste that would be.
Laying waste is part of it, yes. But anything is going to have to be agreed upon by all of us. There will be no side deals. There will be no side contracts.
Well, I don't think you, Alaric, have the ability to declare that your compatriots cannot make a side deal with me.
In this matter,
Well, I mean, that can be part of the contract, right? The whole,
Huh. I
this
suppose.
embodies the entirety and heretofore cannot be modified, nullified.
There's something that I want all of you to understand about me, is that I don't destroy things, I build things. I am a creator.
Mm-hmm.
Not like the abyssal fiends that come and wreak havoc wherever they go. No one wants that demon lord to waltz about unimpeded on the material plane. I could help you with that.
that's a separate issue.
Well,
It's
if it
still
comes
an
to it-
issue.
If it comes
lots
to it, maybe
of
we would.
deals
ask for
on
your
the
help.
table.
I mean, we could potentially kill a lot of birds with like one stone while we're here if it's a possibility.
I don't want to create more birds.
So you would,
Point.
so things that you want, possible favors,
Hmm.
potentially being able to use the tree once it's up and running again.
Mm-hmm. Valuable artifacts. What sorts of things did you have in mind? After all, you did come to see me.
What kind of artifacts? Do you have anything specific that you want in mind?
Do you have something specific that you are wondering if I want?
Kind of.
The Codex
But I-
Panoptica?
That book again.
Everybody wants that book.
Of course they do. It's tremendously valuable and useful. And I happen to know that not only have you had your hands on it before, but you know where it is currently and have the ability, at relatively little risk to yourselves, to retrieve it for me.
Yeah, that bargain worked out so well the first time we did that.
Yes, well,
You got your memories back.
True. But at what cost?
The book.
Yeah, but how easy? How
These
easy is
contracts
it
are a
for you
direct
to get
result
back?
of that whole thing.
I mean, the queen has it, right?
Yeah.
So, like, you think she's just gonna give it up?
She's asleep. We could just go take it from her.
And we're okay with the kind of harm that could happen.
No. No, it's
Because I would also like to point out that when we talk about traveling on the tree, we're talking about traveling on me in a way. And ew. No offense. But I don't know what you're going to be doing while traveling.
Perfectly understandable.
My first guess is that it's something nefarious.
Nefarious. I do love that word. Now, here's how I like to do business. I don't like demons. I would like to see all demons annihilated, or short of that, at least pent up in the abyss where they can't interfere with my plans. I have to devote an awful lot of my resources just to keeping them penned in. And honestly, the Demon Lord set free, that's not good for my business. But when it comes to mortal creatures, I'm not interested in simply destruction or death. That's not fun. It's not useful. I make bargains with mortal creatures that are entirely voluntary, and I deliver my end.
but
And
with tricks, though.
tricks.
I know about your tricks. You guys work those little tricks into your contracts, and the people don't see them, and then at the end,
Is
the
that
contract comes
my
up.
fault if someone makes an agreement without full understanding of all the details?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's deceptive, like right off
Totally.
the
It
bat.
is definitely not deceptive. It is calculated. And it is foolishness on the part of someone who agrees to a contract without understanding it. I would accept exploitative, but not deceptive.
All right.
Nope. I'll go with deceptive.
Yeah,
So-
exploitative is a pretty good word.
I'm curious as to who it is you think is so bad that we would agree to take care of them.
Well, I have a number of targets in mind if that's the sort of thing that we could discuss. But as things stand, you guys, all of you have reached a power level that I am honestly delighted and intrigued to discover what sorts of things you would even be willing to consider. So I'm throwing everything on the table, so to speak. Is that the sort of thing that you would be open to, provided that the target does not offend your moral sensibilities?
I just look at Amethyst because
I know,
Yeah,
she's such
looking
a
at
pain in
Archie
the
and
ass.
Amethyst.
I mean, if it's demon stuff, I feel like Archie's going to be really happy.
Yeah,
Like if
I
we
mean,
can hunt some of those for you that are being a pest, we're happy. I'm excited about that. I'm nervous about causing harm to others.
Naturally, killing the existing demon lord already part of the discussion. You have your own reasons for destroying him, so naturally, I don't give you anything for that.
Naturally.
But there might be other demons. I know all of you had a run-in with a Sibiriax recently that didn't end well.
Mm,
No,
well,
it sort of
It
did.
didn't
Kinda
really end
did.
at all, in fact. It's actually still going. You just left the battlefield.
There is one other proposition. that we could make. And there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I point at the bottle. 8. There's like 8 of us, and like 1 of you. So I'm just saying that I'm just putting this out there. That if we wanted to, we could just kill you and end the contract. I'm not saying we're going to do that. Obviously, I'm not hands in the air, I'm not reaching for my weapons, nothing like that, no spells. I'm just saying what's stopping us from like killing you and just like ending this whole mess now.
I'm going to go ahead and brush right by the more immediate but obvious elements of that. But even were you able to kill me, that would not end the contract. You would have to be prepared to do the same to the devil that tries to take my place, and then the one after
Okay.
that.
Okay. All right. That's
Is
good to know.
I'm curious, is there a way this current contract could be altered where you still keep the dragon? Because honestly, we're not really sad about that. And call off your troops.
How about this? Any modification of the contract would require agreement for both parties. But if you could negotiate between myself and the dragon a mutually agreed upon modification to the contract such that it stops fighting its fate and agrees to the terms, that is something that I would find extremely useful. I assume that one modification would be the removal of the contract assassinations on your family members, of course, but the other modifications would need to be agreed upon. But were you able to negotiate such an arrangement? Persuade the late Neocortex that he belongs to me? That's absolutely something that I would consider. But it would, of course, require terms that are acceptable.
So basically, it's the dragon or the book.
There are
Or-
other artifacts that you have that could play a factor, or some combination of any of these things. That's a fancy axe you have there, Alaric. The bottle.
The axe is not up for negotiation.
Fair enough. I'm
Look at the
simply
Alaric's
providing
face, I mean.
options. The bottle
You're the only
that
one who will
you,
get this axe.
the bottle that you have trapped that Orthon in is quite a remarkable artifact. I'm quite interested in that. Or some combination of these things. It is all fungible, as they say.
Mushrooms.
What do you think, guys? Should we discuss this amongst ourselves for a little bit?
Yes. Yeah, let's take a minute.
Yeah,
Unless you
we're
guys have an answer.
I think we should discuss it before we come to like an answer.
Okay.
We're going to
Take
go
as long
and
as you
discuss.
like. It's easy for me to wait under the current circumstances.
So I'm going to go step out into the hall, since this is where it's going.
Yeah. All right, guys. So as we'll all step out away from the demon, out of earshot, even though he can probably hear us anyway.
I think as
definitely.
as
I
you
was gonna
glance
just
back,
watch him freeze.
yeah, as you glance back to watch him freeze, you see him looking, down at the table, but then just as you think he must be frozen, He turns and looks and just makes eye contact and then stops like that.
I knew it.
Yeah, let's leave his house. I wouldn't be surprised if his house also spies for him.
I mean, how disappointing would it be if it didn't?
He's so handsome, but so creepy.
Once outside, I may have an idea.
Okay.
Okay. Spill
Oh,
it.
good. Oh, good. Oh, bring it.
Strangely, it's almost inspired by him, which feels wrong, but it's the idea of a contract which feels like a win-win for both sides, and yet is not. The dragon is concerned, right? Right now, it's fighting to not be under the control of that thing.
Mhm.
Furthermore, though, I think I know why it's so afraid. Remember when we talked to it? It was not afraid of death. It was afraid of its secrets getting out. That it valued far more than its life. So we go to it, and we make it a deal. If it agrees to change the contract, to deaden the contract on our parents, and go with the prince and soul. And that's what it tells the prince. The prince would agree to that. It sees no reason not to. But our bargain with the dragon is we remove its memories so that the prince gets nothing but an empty shell. It would not care about dying. It would tell him information its knowledge would be lost and that it would prefer.
Yeah, because it said it wanted to be the only person that ever knows it. I don't know.
And then the prince
Um,
does not have that knowledge to destroy
Yeah.
a lot.
I mean, it is one advantage that we can lie
Well,
and he can't.
the dragon is not going to just be happy to do what we ask it to do. It's pretty mad at us.
But
I
it fears
feel
losing
like
that
the
knowledge more.
knowledge that it contained was probably part of the contract.
We would have to ask.
Also, unless some of you have acquired some new magic, I don't believe any of us have any memory altering spells.
The dragon
I'm pretty
could.
sure that we know some
Yeah.
who do. That creature that
Yeah.
it kept, it might be able to siphon the memories from it.
Isn't that creature
Or maybe
dead?
Melicanth. Dead is only a state for a while, I suppose.
I'm not bringing that thing back.
But maybe
Lost your mind.
Melicanth or some of the other beings, maybe the queen herself.
Melicanth,
She can alter
Melicanth
memory.
is who she was, as far as I can tell, when the moment was used.
Wow.
She doesn't know about, everything that happened since and trusting us as much as,
And
I'm
she may
thinking
not
of
have the same level of knowledge and abilities that she did
mm,
at the time that we knew her.
yeah.
The dragon itself may know of a way. It knows how to carve out memories of others. Maybe it can teach one of you a trick.
Yeah, it's
Maybe
most
it could
likely.
put its memories inside something and give them to us.
Or something that can be destroyed.
Exactly.
Well, also remember what His Highness has said is that both parties have to agree to the alteration of the contract.
Right, but the only alteration to the contract is that it calls off those elements. And perhaps there can be another facade, something that it requests us to do that would be valuable, but something we could live with a lot more than we could living with the prince's own contracts.
He doesn't
And
have
it's not
to.
stupid. This dragon would have made some provision potentially that sure, it gets its soul and body as it was when it died. But I wouldn't be surprised if it even had its scheme that it may not have been able to pull off to erase its own memories.
Yeah, the prince doesn't have to know that we already pre-negotiated with the dragon, though.
Of course not, as he
He
said.
he may well know. Assume.
As he said, we wouldn't be lying. All the contract details would be completely clear. And if we needed a better cover story, we can offer the dragon some act or some deed, which we can do. perhaps destroying a piece of knowledge, something that would be significant but far less than what the prince would be asking for. And
Well,
further,
there is
the dragon's
al-
knowledge doesn't go to him.
there is also the potential that, you know, now being in hell, that dragon has changed its mind about what it feels is important.
But between your connections, Nirkina Ethu, and your powers, Cat of the Sands, I think you could, in fact, take its memories. But I think it may be worthwhile talking to the dragon. After all, we can probably talk to it without anyone else listening.
Well, we have to figure out where the dragon is.
I used
Sure.
my primeval awareness to see if I can sense the dragon.
You don't sense it
Okay.
here.
Perhaps in this place, all we need to do is follow the idea of the dragon.
You do recall what your Orthon buddy said, which was that this is not where the Prince of Hell does his business generally.
Right.
So I think we're going to have to talk to His Highness again to see if he could tell us exactly where to go. I'm sure.
Maybe the Orthon
Oh.
knows where the dragon
And
would
he's
be.
going to know we're negotiating and all that. But
Well, no,
Um,
he actually would like that, wouldn't he? He wants us to give the dragon to him.
oh, true.
He said that would
He
be
already
acceptable.
But he
Yeah,
would
yeah.
probably want to be there when we're making negotiations with the dragon. I can't imagine he's just going to be like, yeah, here's the dragon, go there and talk to him without me being there.
He doesn't have to be there. That's privileged information.
He knows that the contract won't be changed unless he is there to make the change happen, but that means that he wouldn't necessarily need to insist on being there for every part of the negotiation because you can't actually do anything to the contract unless he's there.
And he
So
doesn't have to know how we convince the dragon. He will want to know, but we don't have to tell him.
you do have kind of a unique leg up on him in that respect right now.
We have powers that he cannot thwart. We have to use that. It's the only advantage we truly have.
Unless he's
So
faking.
yes. If he's faking, then it doesn't matter anyway. Although he still might appreciate the attempt.
Like
I
you
think we
look
should
back
ask
in there
him.
and he's winking. He's like frozen, but in a wink.
Right.
No, not kidding.
So handsome! Oh!
Besides, I don't know where he's got to, but I'm sure Mugen has a plan. It's probably far better than mine. But I'm sure he's finding all the interesting things in this house at the moment.
You guys look down, and Mugen is just like looking down at some glowing little rectangle that he's got in his hands. Huh? Yeah, just a second.
Well, I say we just go ask him. Use the direct approach. Say, where's the dragon? We'll go talk to him. Maybe it'll work. Maybe it won't.
Say as little as possible. It will use whatever it can against us. That's why I refuse to say much at all.
I was going to say, I don't mean to roll my eyes when you say that stuff, Alaric, but I love you. But wow, you're a talker. Alaric's a sharing kind of a guy.
I've learned a few things. Only a few. Don't worry.
A lot
enough.
of things.
He says a little while saying a whole lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you go back inside.
Yeah.
All right. So you get back to the room where he is, and he is still in the same position that you last saw him in, which was looking right at where you guys looked through the door into the room. But as you make your way into that room, you're approaching him with the intent of waking him up, and he then kind of all of a sudden with a little bit of a wrenching motion. Well, That's getting a bit easier. Have you decided then?
Yeah, I think we're gonna go and talk to the dragon.
Splendid.
But we kind of need to know like where the dragon is.
Of course. And all of a sudden, he waves his hand, and as you kind of instinctively follow the gesture, you find yourselves all kind of spinning, like your eyes just go a little dizzy, and then you realize you are now in a completely different room that appears to be like it's strange. It's like some really elaborate clerk's office where there are desks with all sorts of writing instruments and chairs and just rows and rows and rows of them in this like dim candlelight echoing hallway. And he is standing right there among you. And you realize that there are lots and lots of devils here with a variety of creatures that look like a humanoid that's just sort of like melted. Like there's still sort of vague hints of the arms and the legs and the head and everything, but otherwise they kind of just look like, like a melted snowman, so to speak. And I think Archie recognizes that those are almost certainly lemurs, which is basically an evil soul that is not part of an existing contract. When it dies and is claimed by hell, they arrive in that form until they can basically impress a higher enough devil that they are worthy of promotion into being a better shape. And it seems like there's a lot of that sort of negotiation going on here. And as the Prince of Hell has brought you all here, he gestures towards one side, and there's what looks like sort of a meeting room with a closed door. It's like frosted glass, so you can't really see what's inside, but he just says, right this way. And I think that's where we will end tonight's session.
Oh.
All right. Cool, everybody. Well done.
We're going into an interrogation room with the dragon.
Boy.
This is gonna go well.
Mm-hmm.
So, Mr. Dragon, you think you're big around here, right? Well, we've got a deal for you.
Just one more thing.
She.
All right. So thank you, everybody who joined us live here on Twitch, or if you're watching later on YouTube or listening to the audio. We love you. Thank you for joining us along on all this. And thank you guys, the players, for being awesome and it all being lots of fun. And we'll be back next week for more adventure on so many levels.
Many levels.